to shut the fuck up about being molested, or someone else who said, no, say what you want, put them on blast, fuck these people, they deserve it, right? Here's my take on when people discuss gun control with me. And I'm just going to lay it out, because I told you I'm not saving this. I'm just going to lay it out for y'all. If I ask people if they would ban all guns right now, because of the climate, there would be some people that would say that. If I said to people, hey, we shouldn't ban all guns, we should just ban rifles, there would be more people that would be like, all right, cool. Yeah, sure, we'll ban the rifles. Like, the country didn't fall apart when Bill Clinton had a fucking assault weapons ban. Okay. Then if I said to people, you know what? We should legalize these guns. Some people would be like, oh, okay. And if I said, well, what about if we legalize not just AR-15s and everything else, but we legalize machine guns? Then there would be some people that said, no, oh man, we can't legalize machine guns. An AR-15 is not an M60. Like, you want people to have the Rambo gun? Fuck that. No less people are in favor of the Rambo gun. Very small percentage. If I said, I think people should have any gun they want, a Dillon gun, a 50 caliber weapon, the vast majority of Americans don't think a person should own a 50 caliber machine gun that you shoot down planes with, right? People say you shouldn't have a tank or an RPG. But the reality is this, people, and this is the truth, that if you're rich, doesn't matter what the laws are, your company can make RPGs. Your company can make M60s, right? You don't seem to realize that these people, when they ban guns, they're going to create even more of a state of power for weapons companies. And I think that it's insane that the only people who seem to profit from any of these deaths are weapons companies and politicians. Because the politicians are fundraising right now. Right now. And the weapons companies, well, they're having a going out of business sale. You see what I mean? It's not just as easy as saying, oh, ban all guns or ban. No, it's not as easy as that. But it is insane to think that a person can kill people with a car, right? But if I told you that you needed a license for your car, no one would think I was a tyrant for telling you that. You're trying to take away our freedom by making me go get a license. Well, yeah. If you have a conceal and carry permit, you also shouldn't be drinking or using drugs. Like, if you caught with a gun and you fucking drunk out your mind, you should get a DUI like you do when you drinking and driving, motherfucker. What's wrong with you? There's another point that I have to make that's important that people are not connecting. You know, the guns that we give out to the rest of the world have killed way more kids than the guns that we have in this country, right? You do know that. Someone mentioned Lord of War in here. You know that the guns that we give to other countries kill a lot of children too? And we don't put none of those kids on the fucking news, right? When we blow up a school in Afghanistan or we bomb some shit in Yemen and those people die, we don't talk about that. We talk about everything else. We talk about how video games are involved. We talk about gun control. We talk about everything else. But we don't talk about our role in the rest of the world. We don't talk about how the weapons of war that we make kill people, destroy children's lives. We don't talk about this. We never have this conversation. Republicans funded the civil war in El Salvador, right? They gave them billions of dollars to kill innocent women and children. And then they claim no responsibility. What law? If I give anyone, even a person I'm not really friends with no more, like, oh yeah, here's a gun. I come in a room while they're arguing with someone and I give them a gun. I'm not responsible for what happens? Of course I'm responsible. Well, let's take the flip side. We talked about El Salvador, right? But what about Fast and Furious? Because we covered conservatives doing that. What about neoliberals? Well, for those people who don't know, Fast and Furious was a program started by the Obama administration where they took surplus guns. This is true, you can look it up. They took surplus guns and they sold them to cartels in Mexico with tracers on them. But guess what happened? The cartels are not stupid. So they found 97% of the tracers and took them off and began to use these weapons of war. Someone wrote, Republicans and Democrats enable war in El Salvador. Yes, ADK Daniel, but it was the brainchild of conservatives. Now, you're not going to get me to be sympathetic to Democrats and neoliberals. But at that time, right, in the 80s, the left in this country was very different than it is now, and they were not pro death squad in El Salvador, and Republicans were. So that fucks up your stupid little argument. And maybe you should learn more about your own country before you come in here trying to suck dick for a political party. Here's another problem that I have. When people talk about there being both sides corrupt, and then I look at their page and they only talk about one side and they never talk about the other, it reminds me of a dude that claims to be bisexual but just doesn't fuck women. Bro, just come out the closet and be the right-wing hack that you are. But don't sit here and try to play us like both sides are corrupt and we never see you criticize both sides. Some idiot named Stefanox, I'll take these questions now, said leftists are Marxists now. That's the dumbest take that I've heard, bro. People like you are considered smart now, and that's why this country's dumber. I'm dumber for reading that comment. Marxism is more connected to Zionism than it's connected to anything having to do with the center left in America. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fam, did your mom shit you out? Like, were you given birth to by like projectile vomiting? Because I know you didn't come out of a vagina talking like that, you fucking dummy. I'm gonna tell y'all a personal story. I'm telling you, yo, I'm not saving this live. When I was a kid, and I went to a pretty good school, one time I brought a gun with me. I'm not gonna lie. This is 20 years ago, 30 years ago. What the fuck you gonna do now? I was 14 years old. And I never forget, only 2 people knew about it. So one of them contacted a teacher that knew me. Now, I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to get them in trouble. But the teacher pulled me aside and he talked to me. And he had a really, really powerful conversation with me. And he said to me, in a sad, sad look, he looked at me and he said, "Why would you ever need a gun, young man?" And he was just sad. And I looked at Duke and I said, somebody shot my friend. And 20 kids tried to stab me in the park yesterday. I said, you see these hands? And at the time they were all scuffed up. I said I had a fight with people in my neighborhood. They tried to jump me because they were from a different project. This teacher looked at me and he was like, yo, he gave me a hug. Now he spoke to me. And he said, that's not your destiny out there. You got to be better than that. And I kept my promise. I didn't bring the strap to school. But I did it because motherfuckers tried to kill me. I didn't do it because people were bullying me. You know my story. And nobody was bullying me at school. I went to school and people ran the fuck out my way. I didn't go to school to try and shoot nobody. If I had a problem with somebody at school, I was going to walk into class and I was going to slap you in the fucking face. I'm not going to shoot you. I'd rather shoot the five with you and punish you. What am I going to kill a person for? That's some coward weirdo shit to me. You understand, even though I was raised a little bit savagely in these streets, that I had intellect and wherewithal to look at that and be like, what, I'm going to shoot someone over a fucking... There's a couple of other things I want to talk about. The police are going to get a big boost in their budget. But here's something that cannot be denied. And I want everybody's opinion in the comments on it. Everybody who's been asking me questions. All these people. Fulanito Papi, West Coast Collectives, right? All of you. Fearless. Sunco. All these people. T-Dog. 2011 Omar. K. Torres. Cal Masterson, Ella Esther, Slim Sterling. I want to ask y'all a question. If it comes out that the police, just like the Parkland shooting, you remember that? That the police were outside, because this is the information coming to me now, that the police waited 40 minutes outside. There's 3 of them. You waiting 40 minutes for backup and you don't rush inside. There's evidence, right? And I want to ask my supporters this. There's evidence that these people waited, right? For 35, 40 minutes. Why do they deserve a bigger budget for that? If that's true, and that's an easy thing to figure out. That's an easy thing to prove, ladies and gentlemen, right? They waited for backup because they were scared to go in there alone. But if you a cop, that's what you signed up for. You signed up for that. And if you got cops that are scared, you want to give kids guns and teachers guns? Are you fucking stupid? Yo, I heard some dummy say, oh, yo, my daughter's going to go to school with a Glock in her bag. You know how many little kids kill themselves with guns? You gonna send your 10-year-old daughter to school with a fucking Glock? She gonna end up killing her best friend. And you gonna go to jail for negligence, you dumb motherfucker. What's wrong with y'all? Just give the teachers guns. Why? The police had guns and they didn't do shit. The teachers with no guns did more to stop the shooter in Texas than the police with guns. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings. I'm sorry if you upset at the truth. But that's true. Teachers who had no weapons did more, right, than the police did with guns who was waiting outside. As a matter of fact, 105-780, you're right. One of the teachers jumped in the way of the shooter. Jumped in the way of the shooter. Took the shots. And these cowards were outside hiding behind a fucking bush calling for backup. Ain't you supposed to run in a building? Ain't you supposed to watch your ankles? Go back and forth? Huh? I know that's easy for anybody in the comments to say, oh, I would have ran in there. Yeah. But if you train for that, you're supposed to. And that lady, that selfless lady, through her body, she would rather get hit all over her body. She took 6 shots all over her body so that they wouldn't hit the little kids that she was teaching. And the police were outside waiting for backup because they were scared to get shot. Somebody said, elevate MM. Yeah, like Parkland. Like Parkland. That's the motherfucking truth. Like Parkland. I just want to say to the teacher who spoke to me, thank you. You made a difference in my life. Unlike a lot of the piece of shit people that were at that school, I want to thank that teacher. You convinced me to stop bringing the hammer to school. You told me that I was a good person and that I had a future. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you for doing the job that a teacher's supposed to do. You were ready to throw your body in front of the dumb shit that I was doing and hug me and say, no, this ain't the right way, brother. You have a future and it's not in the street. You're too smart for that. Someone that looked inside me and said, no, you're too smart for that. You're better than that. You're better than dying in the street over some bullshit. He made a difference in my life. Just like this teacher made a difference in those kids' lives. So before we talk about giving more money to law enforcement like Greg Abbott and these fucking hypocrites are doing, how about you pay teachers more? Right? How about you pay teachers more? You start with that. You got to start paying teachers like you paying cops, right? How about we start with that? Start paying teachers like they paying cops because they're doing more to save these kids right now than the cops that waited outside doing nothing. And for the assholes that they could walk into a sneaker store. Listen, some of y'all love police. And that's fine because some of y'all could walk into a sneaker store and find a boot to lick. Pussy. But the truth is this. If the police actually doing their job, then they're willing to die for that. They're willing to die for those kids. The teachers willing to put their life on the job. Okay, AD Kid Daniel, I flamed you before and you came back here still talking about Democrats. I get it. They're corrupt. That's true. But like I told you before, Daniel, you remind me of a bisexual dude that doesn't fuck women. You only talk about one side. You cannot say both sides are corrupt if you don't talk about both sides. Do you understand me? You know, when it comes to solutions, I think it's important to note that teachers today made the differences. That teachers made these differences today. That they took the shot. All right, kid. I love Fred Hampton too. And Fred Hampton did not like liberals. He thought they were a fraud. But when we talk about the left, my brother, I'm going to be fair to you, Daniel, because you're being respectful, so I'm going to be respectful. I want to ask you something, Daniel. Whenever I hear, right, Latino black conservatives talking about, oh, Malcolm hated the left. No, Malcolm hated fake white liberals and Southern Democrats who were Dixiecrats at the time. But Malcolm was friends with Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. Okay? So, no one hated the left, bro. They just hated spineless center-right people. See what I mean, brother? I'm going to just say that when I came to school with a weapon, it was a teacher that changed my life, that told me that I was better than whatever was going to happen to me out there, right? That there were teachers out there who care. Someone asked me about communism. Technique, are you a communist? What? Because I think these people are fucked up? That was your hot take, bro? See, this is the problem. After 9/11, people moved so far to the right that for some of these dumb fucks, like I'm gonna shout you out personally, since you really want my attention. Quad aces. Listen, I get it. To some people, anything left of hunting the homeless for sport is socialism. But ultimately, if you want my assessment, and this is just the truth, I don't care what you think about communism or socialism, because most people, especially dude bro incel nerds online, don't know the difference. Socialism is just workers owning the means of production. And as for communism was meant to shatter the illusion of classes in the United States of America, right? Communism states that there are only two classes, right? There are the people who own the means of productions and workers. Do you understand that? That's it. There's no middle class. You're a worker. You don't own the means of production, right? Now, this is then subsidized by government, right? And everything is controlled by government. Well, here's the problem. That's the case now. Everything's still controlled by government. People say, oh, we don't know how many people died during the USSR. We don't know how many people died during the formation of America. It's just that you didn't consider indigenous people, you cocksucker, right? That's the problem. For people who say communism never worked, capitalism has failed in multiple places. Multiple places. Multiple times. But when it fails, you blame the regime and not the economic system, which I thought is hysterical, because you